Hello everyone, Forest After Dark again with another bit of advice or tips for you if you're someone who is working on a novel or is thinking about writing one. Maybe you're in the outlining process. I do this almost every night. I do an entry through my process where I'm writing my second novel, and I give writing tips and advice to people looking for it. So a little bit of a simpler idea for tonight. I wanted to kind of go a little bit over sentence structure. It's something simple but important, like sentence structure. We all think of grammar, right? Making sure that everything is capitalized correctly, the periods and the commas and the semicolons are all used correctly. You know, like grammar is one of the more boring parts of working on a book or writing anything for that matter. It's also one of the things that we think about the least when it comes to like writing a book. We don't think about grammar too much. We're more focused on story, character, setting, all that kind of stuff, all the fun stuff. And sentence structure is interesting because obviously there are rules where when it comes to the way that you structure certain sentences, like they must be done a particular way when you're writing a book. But then there are also writers who want to take a more interesting or unconventional or unorthodox approach to structuring their sentences. For me personally, I really like writing fragments. Like I read a few books when I was younger, which by the way, that was my last video. I brought up books that inspired my writing growing up. One of them did a lot of fragments, where they're not complete sentences. They don't necessarily have a complete thought, but it is supposed to be a little bit reflective of the mindset of the character's perspective. It's supposed to kind of be reflective of the character that whose perspective you're writing from. When a lot of the times when we have thoughts, a lot of the time they tend to be in the form of fragments. You'd be surprised if you really think about it. We don't think in a lot of complete sentences. We think in terms of a lot of fragments, and those fragments can feel, kind of scattered, disorganized. Again, I really enjoy writing in fragments. There is a feeling of poetry about it. I'm doing this a lot in this video for some reason. There's a feeling of poetry when it comes to writing fragments, which poetry was actually something that I wrote a bit of when I was younger. I actually even got a poem of my own published at one point. So, I like it when you're writing prose, there is also this sort of poetry about it. Now, there's a couple of other ways that I enjoy, doing when it comes to my writing style, and I thought I would share that and also give you a sense of relief that maybe you're not as far off when it comes to your writing style as you think. Now, one of the examples that I wanted to share was how we structure one of our sentences. What is a better way to write a pretty simple sentence? And I actually have a good example for that, and I'm going to turn the screen around once I get to a place where there isn't something I don't want you to know about in my book. There, so let me just paste that real quick. All right, and then I'm going to enlarge this text so that you would be able to see it better. By the way, I use Scrivener. It's an app that you can access on in the Apple Store. Scrivener is a really awesome book, like a tool, or it's an app for writing your book. And there's a whole bunch of different stuff that you can do with it. I'll save that for a separate video. I'll show you what I use to write my book. But yeah, so just to give you a hint, Scrivener is the name of the app. And so I wanted to go ahead and show this. Now, first sentence you've got is, inside was like a glorified supply closet. But then in the second version of the sentence I have here, it was like a glorified supply closet inside. Now, I want you to actually answer this question in the comments because we're all supposed to help each other write better, right? So, between these two versions of the sentence, which one is the better version of the sentence? Which one do you think flows better? Again, inside was like a glorified supply closet. Second is, it was like a glorified supply closet inside. I thought it would be interesting to share that and show you that there are actually different ways of writing a sentence. Personally, to me, I don't think either one is a bad version, but the version that I ultimately ended up using in my book was, it was like a glorified supply closet inside. Again, to me, it just flows a lot better. I don't think it requires, it actually doesn't require, no, I think there's one more word in the second version of the sentence. You use the word inside, right? Inside was like a glorified supply closet. Second version was, it was like, so it replaces the word inside, was like a glorified supply closet, and then you add the word inside. Inside goes at the end rather than the beginning. Inside at the beginning is replaced with it, and then you put inside at the end. So that does add one more word. It'd be one thing if you added a whole bunch of new words to the sentence, but no, in this case it's just one. So over the next couple of days, I'm a little bit scrambled here, I apologize. It's also 11:42 at night. I have to feed my son here in a minute. What kind of, like, when it comes to sentence structure, how do you like to structure your sentences? What do you think flows better? How do you write? Do you prefer to write in fragments, or are you pretty conservative about like sentences that feel complete, therefore, have complete thoughts? And do you like writing that feels like poetry, even though it's prose, or do you kind of take a different approach? I would love to hear your thoughts, and would love to know more about your writing styles if you put that in the comments section below. Over the next couple of days, I will be sharing more about writing techniques that I use and writing styles that I latch onto, and show you how you can do that as well. And if you're interested in continuing that journey with me, be sure to like this video and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you will be notified, and I mean it, every day when a new video comes out. I usually record a video at night and then post it early the next morning. So you'll be getting this stuff, you'll be getting content from me consistently. See you guys next time. I'm gonna walk over to the phone now so that I can press record again.